All right, welcome back into another episode of Nightmare Stories on the Other Side. Tonight we welcome back Jaime Casida. How have you been? It's been probably almost a year since you've been on the show.
Yeah, it's been quite a year actually. I haven't been able to do a whole lot this past year because I had surgery and I was down for quite a while, so unable to walk upstairs or anything like that. So
Yeah,
it's been
yeah. The
great.
last time, the last time we saw you was at FCI Con back in June,
Yeah,
and that was a fun day, but very hot.
yeah, it was very hot and I was stuck in a wheelchair, so it was like it was awful. I'm really hoping that this year it's not that hot. It was like almost 100
I
degrees.
know it was crazy. It was just like couldn't drink enough water, and then Melina's going around with her fan trying to get
Spraying
money, and
people. Yep.
but
I don't know
hey.
how that all happened, but she definitely made more than I did that day.
Yeah, I think she probably made more than we did. I think we maybe only made $6, but
Mhm.
again, it was there to, be part of the experience and,
Yeah.
see the building and talk to everybody and
Yeah, that's usually what it is like with a lot of the conventions. It's like just seeing, old friends or your paranormal family, it's
yeah.
just family reunion.
But yeah, like for us, that just like, capped off a crazy week for us because we were investigating all before we got there with Christopher and Dawn, and we had a
Yeah.
long week.
Yeah, it seems like you always do. You're like, we're going to this place, then we're going to go to this place. I'm like, that is too long. Like, I can do 1 or 2 days, and then I want to go back to my bed. Like,
But yeah, we were gone on the road 9 days.
that's crazy. That's a lot.
Yeah, but like when we left Lancaster that what Sunday morning, we drove straight back, like 13 hours.
That's nuts. I can't. I couldn't do it.
But yeah, we were itching to get back home.
I bet. Yep. So yeah, so it's just basically been conventions is about the only thing I've been out doing because I've had to have a lot of help with, getting set up and everything. And I've been able to luckily have great people around me who's helped out. So I was able to do all that.
Yeah. So after FCI Con, what other kind of conventions did you do that year?
Yeah, so we did, I'm trying to think what was next. I think the next one was Gettysburg. We did Gettysburg Bash. And then I also did one at Post Town. Post Town had their first convention, so I did theirs.
How was
And,
that?
it was pretty good. I think a lot more people showed up than I think that they were expecting. So it
That's
was
awesome.
yeah. I do think there was something else going on that weekend. So I think everybody was kind of like not sure if people were gonna, swing by or not.
Yeah,
So yeah, it wasn't bad. It was pretty good. It was well ran. So
that's good. Yeah, because Post Town, I was there right before we got the FCI. It's a great location, and for that con, to raise money to repair it, it's like you need it to keep that building going, especially like with the shape the roof's in, and
I think I like more of the conventions that the money is going back into, the buildings.
yeah,
Not that I'm against raising money for any other cause. I just think that, these buildings are very expensive to run. And although a lot of people are like, oh, well, they get money from, these investigations and stuff, they don't realize how much these repairs
right,
really cost. And I mean, you have to think like running electricity and stuff in some of these buildings. It's got to be super expensive. I don't own a building, so I don't know, but I can only
right.
imagine.
Oh, I know for sure.
So yeah, so I do like going to any of the conventions that are, really raising money for these buildings, so that we can keep doing these investigations and they don't get torn down.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, I think after that was just, Indiana State, the sanatorium there, one at Billy Creek Village. I did that one to kind of end the summer and then MadCon in the fall. And then we did do another one that was kind of like a Day of the Dead thing in Cleveland. So
okay.
yeah, it was a pretty busy couple months.
Yeah, for sure. How was ISS Con? We were supposed to do that, but then, things kind of just didn't work out, so we backed out of that one.
Yeah. I think that every year it's been getting busier and busier. So, I think they're doing a good job of like getting the word out and getting more people there because I actually was at the first one. And so I've kind of seen it, grow.
Yeah,
Here it's gotten a little bigger and, more people are coming. And again, it's just like a big reunion. So everybody's just kind of hanging out and, talking and chatting. So
yeah,
that's
for
pretty,
sure.
yeah.
So I was just kind of going through your page a little bit, just kind of see what you've been up to get some notes. So recently you had a birthday investigation.
Yeah, yeah. We went out to Indiana to finally go see one of the houses out there because, you know, we haven't done a whole lot of those.
Which location was that?
Oh my gosh, I have to look because I don't know why I'm drawing a blank right now on the
Because I
the
don't
name.
think I saw it mentioned in the post.
Asher Walton House.
Okay, so because I did see something about Asher Walton, but I just must not have put two and two together.
Yeah, I think, oh my gosh, it's right next to one of the other places that people do investigations at, and I don't know why I'm drawing a blank on that one too,
Is
but
it the Rhodes Hotel? Is it?
yeah, Rose Hotel.
Okay,
Yep.
yeah, they're like a block away from each other.
Yeah. So apparently what we were told is that like the people who built the Asher Walton house, their children, one of the sons had married one of the daughters that was at that house. So there's actually a picture of one of the sons and his wife in Rhodes Hotel.
Oh,
Um,
interesting.
yeah. So they're all kind of connected. I mean, it is a small town, so so I get that, but yeah,
So,
it's a really cool place.
so who all did that investigation?
Christopher was there. It was my friend Danielle's birthday, so she had a couple of her friends there, and then I invited Jeff Fent to come along with me.
Okay,
He came out with, and then of course Melina was there. So yeah, it was just a kind of a small group, just hang out and, you know, just investigate for Danielle's birthday.
nice.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna turn it over to Jada because I know she has some questions and notes and whatever
Yep.
else is going on over there.
So, the first question that I have for you is where was your first investigation at?
My first real investigation was actually at Randolph County Infirmary. Um, and that was in like 2016, I think. That's kind of when I finally started like, okay, like dipping my toes and doing like formal investigations.
Okay. Did you do that with an official group or with like a group of friends?
So I went with a friend. They were actually having like it was like a public overnight, like,
Okay.
so it's a bunch of random people,
Yeah. What would you say was your most memorable investigation you've done?
It's hard to say. I feel like there's like memorable stuff at each location, but I will say the building that's like near and dear to my heart is the Indiana State Sanatorium. I mean, I lived right down the street from it for many years, and I've always had good experiences there. I've had like audible voices that we've caught on camera. I've seen physical apparitions of people. We just got have had so much interaction there. It's just I don't know how to explain it. The building really pulls you in.
It definitely
Oh,
does.
Yeah, it's like alive.
So
yeah.
before I forget, when you've been at Indiana State, like in the 5 story, have you ever heard anything like growl or hiss at you?
I have never had a negative experience there. I know that other people have claimed to, and that's just not the case for me. I don't know.
Yeah, because when we were there last June, like Natalie and a couple members of our team were up on, I think it was the 4th floor. I have no idea where I was,
Mm,
But all of a sudden, it's like she found me and she goes, "You're gonna be mad at me because I wasn't recording because I couldn't figure out how to get the camera to work because it was a different camera." But she
mm.
goes, I can't remember what it was, but she goes, something growled or hissed at us. And it's like, and this was during the day. And she goes, "Nope, we're gone. We're out of there." But it's like, it's one of those things where it's like, even during the day, it's like, what was it?
Yeah. Um, there was a brief period of time where I'm trying to remember what exactly the was said. I was not there during this, but I was told by other people that someone brought a divot box into the the 5 story and had released some evil spirit or something there. Again, wasn't there, have no idea who this person was. This is just all hearsay stuff.
Okay.
And ever since then, I'd hear a lot of people from those circles basically, saying that there was negative stuff going on in there. But like, I I personally haven't had that experience there. It's always been very positive, very like playful energies.
Okay. All right,
But that's
Jada, back
the thing.
back to you.
I wish you would have got it on camera though.
Oh, I
I
know I wish, but just like,
It's hard. It's like, people are like, oh, like, oh, you don't post anything of your investigations. I'm like, I swear when I am like really filming, nothing happens. And it's always
right.
the time that you're not filming is when something happens. And you're like, why?
But just to like see it, like she was recording something on her phone as they were leaving and talking about what's happening, but you could see like in her face, her expression, her voice that something legit happened because she was
Yeah.
like terrified.
Yep. I think I have 2 videos on TikTok from ISS. One was the first time I took Melina out there. We were just kind of walking around and I had a spirit box just kind of playing and and then we were in that actually it seems like always the chapel area. We were in the
Okay,
chapel area and Melina was standing in front of me and the somebody says, "You are so beautiful." And I was like, "Oh."
nice.
And then I have another video on there when we were in the chapel. I was with a bunch of people, and we all heard this voice so loud say, "Hi." And all of us were like, and you can hear it on the video, like, it's crazy. I was
That's
just like,
awesome.
I've never heard, like, I've heard things before, but never that clear and loud. It was like they were standing right behind us. It was nuts.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was crazy. So I love it there.
yeah, it's a great location.
Yep.
All right, Jada, back to you.
All right. I'm going to somewhat circle around to the first question that I had asked you, and I just want to know what got you into the paranormal.
Mhm. So I feel like we might have talked about this last time I was on, but when I was really young, I used to always tell everybody about how I could like talk to spirits or like I didn't know at the time what they were, but I would always talk about this. My mom was very big on like saying, it's your eyes are playing tricks on you or whatever.
Yeah.
So I didn't like to talk about it too much, but I did find out, later on that this kind of runs in my family. My dad and my one of my paternal cousins, like, and her daughter, like they all have these abilities as well, and now my own daughter as well. So it's kind of been just something I've always dealt with. I just never really wanted to deal with any of it really until my daughter started seeing stuff because then I kind of felt like I never could talk about these things because I didn't want people to think I was crazy and I didn't
Yeah.
want people to like call me a liar or be like, or you get those people who don't understand it and they'll be like, "Oh, you're psychic, so tell me the future or like what's, or whatever." And it's like,
Yeah.
I didn't want to deal with that stuff. But once she started seeing stuff, I kind of felt like I needed to understand it for myself so that I could help her navigate things like as she grows up because it was lonely, like having these things happen and then you can't talk about it and it has to be this big secret because you don't want anyone to like I didn't want to go to a therapist and be like, "Yeah, I hear dead people." And they'll be like, "You
Right.
hear
Yeah.
you know so yeah, that's why in 2016 I ended up doing that investigation because I was just curious. I was like, let's just see what happens. But unfortunately when I went there, I believe that there was something that kind of like followed me home because it's a long story, but a whole bunch of stuff, series of events happened inside my house. And Melina she was like 2, I think, at the time, and it was kind of like messing with her a lot. And so yeah, I just kind of stepped away for a little bit. But yeah, so that's why I got into it, is mostly because I kind of been dealing with it for forever. Being able to speak and see these spirits, but I mostly got into investigating once my daughter kind of started having her own abilities and just wanting to kind of get a better understanding.
Yeah, that's a great reason, actually.
And like for me, it's like lately, it's like, with Natalie investigating, I've heard some from so many people saying that, she has a gift. There's more to her than, we even know, because like, she's got a child attachment that we found out that was her twin brother in a past life. And,
Hmm.
there's a whole story behind that. And then just like in different locations, she senses things, sees things that it's just like, you know, as she gets older, the more and more it's going to grow. But then, like for me recently, which again, I just don't know if it's my eyes playing tricks on me, but like there's been times where I'm like walking upstairs from my office into the kitchen early in the morning because I get up before everybody else, get
Hmm.
my coffee, and like I'll see a kid peering over the railing down at me. I'm like, so it's like, okay, again, is it just my mind like playing tricks on me, or am I like really starting to, see
Yeah.
what she sees? So
I always say, like, I really think that everybody has abilities. I just think it's dependent on how you allow your brain to relax enough to accept what you're seeing. Because I think that a lot of people will see things and they're like, oh, that didn't actually happen, or that wasn't real,
yeah,
whatever, and they kind of, throw it away. They're like, oh, must have been trick of the light or something.
right. But it just seems like for me, like, especially since June, that's when like stuff's like really started escalating. It's like when we were at Old Hospital on College Hill, there was a point where we were on the second floor and we're doing an Estes session, and Kennedy was going under and she was waiting for Dawn to be ready. And we started going, and something came across, and like, it was like, I recognize you. And then Christopher's like, not now. So I think that was like directed towards Natalie. Like they recognized her, like she might have been a nurse there in a previous life.
Uh-huh.
So it's just kind of crazy, but it's like, we haven't been back there yet. And it's like, I'd like to go back to see if we get more interaction along that line.
I want to go there. That's one of my bucket list places, but it's just been, with everything going on with
Yep,
finances and health stuff, like besides the, investigation we did for Danielle's birthday, like I haven't been on an investigation since I think Danielle's birthday the previous year.
that's
Not
crazy.
not really anyway.
Yeah,
I've gone to places, but not like, I went out to what is it? The place out in I think is it Findlay, Ohio? Just to meet up with Jeff to get my Fent box, and
okay.
plus Melina. Well, last time I was there, I was like telling the spirits there. I was like, next time I come, I'll bring my daughter and stuff. So I just took her out there to hang out. But
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, haven't done a whole lot.
All right, Jada, sorry to cut you off.
You're good.
Okay, next question from you.
Let's see. So, over the, I guess, 10-year course of you being an investigator, what has come to be your favorite form of evidence? Is it picture, audio?
I have, I feel like, leaned pretty heavily on using my Fent box just because I don't know. We get some interesting responses, but I guess, but without that, I think I do like doing Estes sessions just because, I feel like there's a less likelihood of um, there being, I don't know. Like when you hear stuff out loud, somebody might say, "Oh, they
Yeah.
said this," and then you're like, "Yeah, maybe that is what I heard," and whatever. But if like somebody's listening to it and themselves and they don't hear what we're asking, I feel like that's a better idea of like what exactly is being said versus us all as a group like kind of maybe manipulating each other into thinking that something
Yeah.
that's not being said. So probably Estes method is probably like my number one.
Yeah. Have you developed, like, before you enter a location or before you even leave the house, have you come up with some sort of like a personal ritual or just something that you do to get yourself ready for an investigation?
Mhm. Not so much. I do take like medications for different stuff. And I have like kind of basically stopped taking medication before going in just because I don't want it to affect my own abilities, so I kind of do that. I do try and relax, but it's mostly when I'm leaving. I either, depending on how things are going, I do try and make it known, like either I'm okay with some, if some spirits want to tag along and, come back with me, that's fine. If they, I don't care. But sometimes, I have to put some kind of boundaries there,
Yeah.
um, that they need to stay like they're part of the house or the part of the
Right.
building. They need to stay where they're at. So I usually have that conversation as I'm doing my last walkthrough before I go home. But I probably should have a better ritual going into places, but I don't. I'm usually just like very naive. I'm just like, oh, this is gonna be great.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
get that.
Yeah.
Going into that mindset, does that make you more prone to carrying like spiritual protection with you?
Yes and no. I think I used to wear or carry like crystals with me more so than I do now. I don't know if it's just because I've done it for so long now that I am more like, I don't want to say, I don't know what the right word is, but laid back or, whatever. I'm not as like worried. I'm not as concerned about, having any spiritual attachments or anything like that. So I'm not like on top of it as I used to be, but I used to carry a lot of crystals for protection and just for my own spiritual, like, like positivity, I guess, because I have had a few occasions where my mood has been affected by the things that were, around me. So,
Yeah. Do you feel like becoming more experienced and carrying less protection, do you think that that's more of like a growth in your mindset kind of thing? Or do you just feel like now that you're more experienced, it's harder to get to you?
mhm. I think maybe it's a little of both. I think before, when it was newer, I wasn't sure what to expect. I wasn't sure like, okay, if this situation does happen, what am I going to do? Or what should I do if this happens? Whereas now it's like, I feel like I've been through so much that I'm like, if this happens, it's not that big of a deal. We'll just do A, B, and C or, whatever. So I'm not, as I don't know. Like I don't worry about it too much now because of that, because of knowing myself better, like understanding how I have to deal with things.
Mm.
And then of course doing all this, I'm not as like, I don't know, scared. Like there's like people who don't do this stuff and they're like, aren't you worried that like you're gonna be possessed or like,
Yeah.
demons or whatever? And you're like, how many times I've encountered like a negative spirit, like in all the investigations I've done, like probably twice.
Yeah.
And it wasn't demonic, or at least I can't say for sure for one of them, but, like it's not like
Oh,
that. Like, I think people think of the paranormal and they immediately think Hollywood,
yes,
Oh, for sure.
exactly.
all craziness or like, oh, people are flipping in the air and crawling up
Yeah.
walls. Like, that's not, I've
Right.
in my life.
What's your opinion on like the paranormal representation in Hollywood? What do you think of it?
Mm, I don't know. I think I'm more critical of YouTube, people who are doing paranormal stuff on YouTube only because so Hollywood, I think you go into it knowing that this is all make believe. They're
Yeah.
making shows and there's, even if like they do a movie about somebody's life, there's some things that are
Hmm.
dramatized just
Yeah,
Yeah.
to
of
more
course, for
interesting, right? And we all know
appeals.
going into it. Well, with like YouTube, people are watching these individuals on their channel thinking, that this is all real life and what they're seeing is really what's happening and it's like it's not and it really bothers me because it's like it's all for the views. They're like
Yeah.
running around screaming like they're scared because they want it to be more interesting and it's like literally nothing's happening and it really
Yeah.
like you're giving a false sense of like what's actually like what the expectation is for paranormal stuff.
How do you feel about the films that meet in the middle, kind of like Blair Witch?
I mean, like I said, I think when it comes to like Hollywood stuff, I'm
Hmm.
not I don't really have a strong opinion about it. I personally enjoy the movies, even if they are very
Yeah.
like out there and I'm like, that would never happen. I still enjoy it, like the
Hmm.
kind of movies and things like, I think they're interesting, even if those things are, like I said, they're made more dramatic than they
Yeah.
actually were just to, for film's sake. But even stuff made in the middle, I mean, I think it's fine. I don't know. I'm not like God, Blair Witch. I'm like, that's so long ago. But
That was
I
like
didn't really care
forever.
for that movie to begin with. But I mean, I don't know. I don't mind Hollywood stuff. I'm just kind of like, eh. It's more so the YouTube that gets me riled up.
Yeah.
But like for like me and like the videos I put out on our investigations in YouTube, like I brought it up a couple times in past podcasts and like even in conversation with friends, I like to keep it as it is. Like
Hmm.
what I experience is what you're seeing. It's like,
Yeah.
nothing's made up. It's like, like if somebody goes, hey, this is boring. Where are the ghosts? I'm like, you're not going to get that every time. Some nights are going to be like super quiet.
Yeah.
But it's like, so like when I put my videos out there, it's like they're seeing what I saw that night. I'm not
Yeah.
like adding anything. And like if I hear a knock, I'll put that in there or point it
Mhm.
out. But it's like, this is what happens.
Yeah.
And it's like if you think it's boring and you don't want to watch it,
Hmm.
go somewhere else. I don't care.
Yeah, I think that's why, I've heard that from a lot of people who have channels who are posting like you said, putting everything out there like this is just what happened during the night, nothing too crazy. And they're like, well, I'm not getting that many views because people are looking for that excitement factor. And it's like, yeah, that's why a lot of the people who are getting a lot of views are getting the views they are because they're faking it. And I'm not
Right?
going to call anybody out, but I've personally been there myself for several of these videos. And I just get so upset because I'm like, it makes a mockery out of the whole thing. And
Yeah.
the whole reason why a lot of people have gone into this, they wanted to have proof. They wanted to, like people like me, I'll speak for myself, I guess, that, like I want to not feel crazy. Like I want to understand it better. I want to, whatever. And when you have people who are out here making things up, then it makes it seem so silly that people are like, oh, wow, you're paranormal investigating or, oh, demon this, demon that. And it's like, stop watching YouTube. Stop,
Right?
Yeah.
stop watching certain shows that like, make it seem like the paranormal is just this terrible demon cult group of
Yeah.
Right.
people or something. It's like,
What was
that's
it
not,
like I think it was last May. It might have been June. I can't remember, but we did a virtual seance with Patty Negri. And I put that video out. And there's one comment's like, oh my God, this is boring. Where are the ghosts? Where's the action? I'm like, what do you expect? A ghost like to come out of her candle?
yeah.
It's just like, again, it's like, if you don't like the content, don't watch it.
I kind of got like frustrated because I did when I first started like going out more frequently, I started like my YouTube channel, and I had posted I think maybe like 2 videos on there so far of like paranormal stuff. But then I just got super frustrated because, I'm going through this video, the video film, the film, whatever. I'm going through these video clips, and there was probably like 12 different camera views, and you're even if you do like 5 hours in a place and you have 12 different, you know,
Right.
views, you have to go through 5 hours for each camera.
Yeah.
Like it's a lot. And you're not just like quickly scrolling through it. You have to actually watch and listen and all this stuff. It's a lot of work. And sometimes for almost nothing. And then
Right.
it's, well, now what do I post? I just wasted all my time doing this and again, that's what I understand why people make things up, make it more interesting or whatever for views, but it just upsets me because I'm like, you're making a joke of the whole, paranormal field and yeah, it
Well,
bothers
one of the
me.
weirdest things I just came across, I was going through footage from an investigation that was from last June, which I'm finally just wrapping up. But like I was doing a EVP session, asked like three, 4 or 5 questions. I can't remember how much it was. And like, watching that. So like when I was like, doing the initial questions between you don't hear anything, but then when listening to the recording back, it's like after each question, all you hear is like a loud static.
Hmm.
And it's like, where is that coming from? So then you're like, you go back and listen like 5 or 6 times, and it's just like to make sure you're really hearing them. Like, but yeah,
Yeah.
it's like I couldn't explain where the static was coming from.
Hmm. Yep. Yeah. I really do like hands down to people who can sit there and make these videos because I'm like, if I ever were to do it seriously, I would need to pay someone to like go through all the video footage because I just don't have the patience for it.
And it's like, I'm sure my videos I could, make them better than they are and like, a higher quality, but it's like I just don't want to do that. I want them to be authentic and
Authentic.
genuine.
Hmm.
And it's
Yep.
like there's one, so like when Natalie and I first started, I'm just kind of going through like our footage we had from like before we really got into it, like our first locations, and did a little compilation video, which I'm going to be putting out. It's kind of cool. So like, hits like 6 or 7 different locations,
Hmm.
and just like seeing, how we've grown over the last 2 years. Because at
Yeah.
first we had no idea what the hell we were doing.
Yep. Yeah, I know. And sometimes I was thinking the other day, like, is is my like investigator skills getting worse or better? Because like I noticed at least at this last one, like I didn't go into it thinking, okay, we're gonna come in here and get a bunch of evidence. Like I was there for my friend's birthday, so I wasn't like super serious about it.
Yeah,
But I was like, I feel like I've become a little lazy, like investigating, where I'm just like, well, silence again. And then I just kind of like move on. It's not like where I was before, like, all right, let's pull out some more equipment and let's
right,
do this and like, I'm just kind of like, and I'm like, what is that? I need to like, I don't know, maybe drink a Red Bull or
right.
something
But like
before
for
I
me going to investigations, yeah, I'm gung ho about it. But it's like I'm more there to like, you know, for Natty and her experience and have her lead it because she loves it so much and she just like, you know, puts it all into it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, she may be only 12, but it's like just when she gets into that element, it's like she's a whole different kid.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that.
Yeah. Sorry,
But
Jada. Keep like I feel like I start answering your questions and then I kind of like we all just kind of like
it kind of
go off.
veers off, but
Oh,
Welcome
sorry.
to my, autism ADHD land. This is how life is.
Good, you're good. I'm all over the place too, so.
Yep.
okay, what else do you got, Jada?
I had one written down. Sorry, my cousin's been helping me write my questions, so
Yeah,
if you see me like looking down, I have them all wrote.
you're fine.
Um, so one that I like kind of wrote down a couple minutes ago whenever you're talking about YouTube. You voiced that you aren't a big fan of like the I guess glorification of it. So where would you like to see the paranormal entertainment industry going within the next 5 years?
Mhm. So I don't know how much like TV you watch or how many of these paranormal
Yeah,
shows you have watched, but
great deal.
uh, I think that if like I had to kind of pinpoint, say, one duo that like kind of impressed me was Kindred Spirits. Like I feel
Yes.
like it wasn't showy. They weren't like, I loved learning history about the places that they, would go to. I loved learning about who used to live there because I was always that person that would like see a far off distance like old building and I'd be like, I wonder what kind of people lived there. I
Yeah,
wonder what they used to do. Like, I don't know. I just like hearing about that stuff. So I loved that they would, get all the information, and when they did their investigations, it was just very, I don't know how to say it, wholesome, I guess.
Yeah,
Like I
very
said,
modest.
it wasn't like showy. They would, sit, they would ask their questions, they were prepared with like, very I guess historically correct, or like, that when they would get their information, they're like, okay, these might be the individuals there, trying to figure out like who may still be there, getting that kind of information, and then actually give it, because like I feel like I've seen a few recently just because I'm like curious. Sometimes I'll like turn the newer stuff on, and like they'll be at a place and they'll be like, oh, what's going on here? And they'll say, oh, well, like things are being thrown around, whatever. And then it's like, then they do the investigation and then they like have no further information for the people that they went to go look at their place. Like they're just like,
Yeah,
oh, this is the stuff that happened while we were there. But
exactly.
they have no names, no like historical accuracy, like information, like nothing. And I just feel
Mhm.
like Kindred Spirits was very good at, like getting that information for, the families that,
yeah,
they would go to, and like and it wasn't over the top. It was, it felt real. It felt like you were on an investigation with them, and I
yeah,
think
Yeah.
they did it really well. So,
Something that I've always respected a lot about them is that whenever paranormal investors, not investors, investigators go into places, they tend to kind of go in with a mindset of, I am here to find evidence for myself,
mhm,
not I am here to gather more information for you to
yeah,
pass on to generations to come, you know?
right. Mm,
And previously, you had spoken about how you feel recently you've been a little bit less present in your investigations, like not asking as many questions. What boxes, well, metaphorical boxes, do you feel need to be checked for an investigation to be successful?
hmm. It's hard to say because I feel like no investigation is really the same at any given place. Like, you could go into a place and investigate, and then I could come in the next day and we would have two totally different
oh,
experiences
definitely.
if
That's the
we,
great thing about it.
even if we did the same exact stuff. Like if we had a checklist and I was like, Jada, go in, ask these specific questions, try and antagonize in this way, try and get whatever the case is. And then I would go in and do the same thing. And it could be two total different results. So I don't know that there really can be like a exact formula for anything. I think that some, like for instance, Paulding Jail, I feel like I always have issues with electronics.
Hmm.
So I already know that ahead of time. So when I go in there, I'm not, really focusing so much on utilizing electronics or really even videotaping things, because either my batteries get drained or the files get corrupted every time. So
Yeah.
given up on that. So, it's kind of knowing the building and kind of
Yeah,
like what's going to work to make it successful. Because I already know it's not going to be successful at Paulding if I'm out here trying to take videos with an actual camera. Now, my phone, if I can take videos with my phone and it's fine. But if I try and use an actual camera, it's a no go.
that's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
So, thinking of buildings, I just gotta ask this question. Is there one building that you've been to in particular that you've never investigated that you'd like to investigate?
Yeah. I mean, To be honest, I've never done a private investigation at Madison, and I've been out to Madison, I don't know how many times, a lot, and I've never actually done a private investigation there. I'm interested to do a private there, mostly because I was there after a convention one time, and I feel like we might have talked about this in the last time um, we spoke, but I had like a really negative experience, but I don't believe that it was because of the building. I believe it was like someone who was there, which is another reason why I don't typically do
Oh,
public.
it does sound familiar.
Yeah, I don't do public investigations for that reason, but I would like to do a private just because I'm curious if like I would have the same experience or separate because I've been there so many times and I've never had a bad negative experience. I've walked through that building myself, during the day and stuff.
Yeah.
Always, a positive vibe and stuff, but I don't know.
But yeah, it is a great location. We were there last Memorial Day and we were playing a game of hide and seek. So the seeker, she was going around trying to find everybody. So Natalie and I were over in the Civil War side up on the second floor. She was on one end hiding in the closet, and I
Mm,
was in the other end in a closet. And we heard somebody walk up the stairs and just stop. And then, like, okay, we're like, is the seeker up here trying to find us? And like, we waited for 10 minutes and like, we finally came out, but it's like, was it somebody walking up or somebody walking down? And the seeker swears she was nowhere near. She goes, I never even went in the Civil War side at all.
wow.
And then like, there was one point at night, like everybody was up in the attic doing an Estes session. I'm like, I'm just gonna go off on my own. I went and sat in the room that has like the giant map on the wall
Hmm.
and just sat there for like an hour listening to the silence. It was just like so calming and relaxing. Just like didn't really hear anything, but it's just like sitting there waiting.
Yeah. Sometimes I like, just sitting in the quiet. Sometimes I feel like you get m more from the building that way than you do
Right.
from using any equipment.
But yeah, for me, for one building that I've been to that I've never investigated, which ironically on my top 10 list is sitting at number two, is Fairfield. It's like,
Really?
yep, just when we were there, it's like walking in that building, it was just like deja vu. Like I've been there before, but I never have. It's just like,
Yeah.
but I'm like, someday I'll get here and investigate. But it's like that sits at number two right now, even though I've never, as I said, investigated there. And, we're walking on. Natalie was saying in one of the rooms she had her hair pulled, and it's like she had that feeling of deja vu also.
Yeah. I had like really when I went to Eloise, I haven't done a private investigation there. I went up there and kind of did a walkthrough with Chris and Jasco, but they were supposed to be doing some live or something when we were there. But we got up on this floor and we walked past this room, and I was like, oh, I was like, I can't, I don't. I was like, there was like a guy who looked like he was maybe in like an officer's uniform or something, like standing
Okay,
in the doorway. But I kept hearing a woman tell me like he shouldn't be on this floor because it's women only. And
interesting.
I'm like, oh, that's weird. So we're like walking and we get to this other room, and I swear on the sides of the room there were like they weren't there physically, but I could see like bunk beds. And it was like there was women on all of them, and they all turned at once and was like staring at us. And I was like, it was probably like the most like the
That's
most out of body experience I've ever had.
right.
I was like, what? I was like, what is happening? But so I kind of like debriefed after and was like, all right, this is what I saw on this floor. And they were like, well, in that room specifically that I had seen that man stand in, they said that that was actually like a supply room that the officers would go in there to get their stuff for the girls,
Okay.
but typically it would be a woman, but because of at the times like it was typically men who were working
Yeah.
in there, but that was a women's only ward that we were on, which is which explains why I saw the women in the bunk
Okay.
beds in that room. I was like, okay, now it kind of makes sense. It was really odd. I mean, I would love to investigate Eloise as well, but I think I'm just still shook by the incident at Madison. So I'm like interested in figuring that all out.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
All right, you got any more questions over there, Jada?
Just one. So I mean, obviously, it's been proven unethical and inaccurate to like compare fear or pain. But have you ever had something that scared you to like a point where the fear lingered for like a prolonged amount of time?
hmm I mean, since you weren't here, I will tell you what happened at Madison, because that was pretty rattling. Like I've said before, I am usually pretty good at blocking things out. I'm good at protecting myself. But for whatever reason, I had walked up there. It was a public investigation. There was like a bunch of people there from the convention. I had walked upstairs to the attic area, um, and everybody was already in there. I guess they were doing an Estes session or something in the hallway, and all the people were sitting on the floor, like kind of just listening and stuff. And so I'm standing by the door, and I'm like, something's not right. Like it just felt very heavy in the room, but I couldn't pinpoint what it was. And then I kind of kept getting this feeling of someone telling me that like I needed to leave or like that I wasn't welcome or whatever. And then all of a sudden, like this thing comes flying out of the middle of nowhere. It was like this ball, and everybody sitting on the floor saw it, but nobody was over in the direction where the ball came from. So, no idea what happened. It was like that happened, and then like something got knocked over all at the same time. And then all of a sudden, like I just had this overwhelming like panic feeling. So I was like, I need to remove myself from the situation because I felt like something was trying to attack me. So I tried to leave, and I kind of like I'm not blacked out because I was still walking. I was still conscious, but I was getting this vision of me throwing myself off the building. And it was so intense that I was like sobbing. I was like, and I don't get emotional. Just even in life, I'm very like, I don't know, I don't like crying in front of people and stuff. So I'm just like, it was very out of character for me, but it was like it was wanting me to throw myself off the building, and it was very intense, and I ended up having to remove myself from the property because I went outside and I still was like I can't do
Yeah.
it, so I leave. But yeah, I was shook for quite some time after that. um so that's one big reason why I'm interested in going there when there isn't anyone, because, like I said, I've never had bad experiences there at all. I really feel like somebody who was there brought something with them.
Yeah.
So that's my hot take on that. I don't think it's the building itself, but yeah, that was rough.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah. Have you guys ever did a past life regression?
I need to.
Oh,
Yeah.
don't worry, Jada. I'm working on something for you.
Thank you. Thank you.
But
I
yeah,
had Christopher do one for me, like
so
yeah.
back at Post Town, Christopher did one for Natalie, and I'm putting out a video for
Crazy.
that. But like it got to a certain point where like Natalie's like, I don't want you to go beyond this because it got so emotional for her, where it's like, afterwards she was shaken, was in tears. But it's like it was amazing. It's just like everything that hit with like the child spirit Levi that's attached to her. It's just like that whole backstory,
Mm,
them being twins in a former life, and Levi died at like 10 or 11 years old. But yeah, her like past life regression session was like so amazing. It's like
yeah.
it was just unbelievable. And then I had one done at Old Hospital like the next night. And for me, it was different. I don't think it was like my past life I was feeding off of. I think it was my grandpa's because like in it, like I was saying, my name is George, and just kind of like boiled down to like where I was back in Greece, and like that's where my great grandpa came from. And it came across in there that George's son was Chris, which was my great grandpa. So it's just kind of like I think I was living a moment in their life and not mine.
Well, I mean, it is possible that you are like that was your past life, like that that is your spirit and you came back. I mean, they do say like, you have about, I think, what is it? Like, I think up to 15 like spirit connections that you consistently have throughout several lifetimes. So
Yeah. But
it's
yeah,
very
it's
possible.
I don't know, it's just like weird because like at the point when we were at Old Hospital, my grandpa has only been gone like 3 years, and but yeah, mine was way different than Natalie's, that's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I was telling Christopher, that when I was younger, I used to say um, like I remembered my death, like several of my deaths or whatever, and I was very insistent that I died in a car accident, and before that, I died in some kind of like the only way I can describe it as an adult is like a concentration camp that I died in
Okay.
it, like a gas chamber. And we were just talking about like these lives that we remember as like a kid and all.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what, it'd be cool to like do a past life regression and see if like what other information we can gather about this. So I'm like 100% positive that this was what was going to happen, and it didn't. But before we had the past life regression session, I was also talking about Melina and how I felt very like empty. And I know this is true for probably most parents, but when Melina was born, there was something in me that like just felt super complete. Like I didn't need anything else. And
Yeah.
I thought it was like a mother thing, right? Like I just was like, that's just what it's like to be a mom. But when we did my past life regression, I talked about this life where my father had passed away when I was young. So it was basically just my mother and I. And then I died at like age 16, leaving my mom behind and alone. And I felt very like responsible and I felt upset about like, leaving her by
Yeah.
herself. But I came out of it really believing that Melina was my mom in that lifetime.
Interesting.
Um, and this lifetime was kind of my way of taking care of her since I couldn't take care of her then. But
Yeah.
after that whole past life regression session, I really dealt with a lot of grief for weeks after that. And I was grieving a mom that I've never met this woman in my lifetime. And I don't know why I couldn't shake the feeling of like I lost her all over again. It was really hard, and it's crazy because I was confident that I wasn't going to be able to like get anything. I'm like I'm too, my ADHD brain won't let me calm down
Yeah.
enough to like be hypnotized or anything. That's not going to happen. So I was really shocked by the things that were coming out of my mouth because I don't know what any
Yeah.
of it. Yeah. So it's pretty crazy. So Jada, you need to do it. It was pretty eye-opening, life-changing for me. So
Good to hear. I definitely, like you said, with the concentration camps, I've had numerous things in which I feel similar to that, and I'm very excited to see where it all leads to.
yeah. Yeah, I was for sure. I was like, this will probably come up or this because I talked about it for so long about like dying in those lifetimes. And so I was
Yeah.
like, get ready to hear about it. And then it like
Yeah.
none of that. It was just completely out of the blue. Like I don't even know. As I was like, you're conscious, but like I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah.
Hear yourself. You know what you're saying, but
Yeah.
like
Yeah. It's almost like, what's it called? Maladaptive, not maladaptive. Um, Astral projection,
yeah.
where you kind of exit your body
Hmm.
metaphysically.
Yeah.
But having this feeling that I've lived so many lives, death doesn't scare me
Yeah.
anymore. Because I
Hmm.
feel as if I'm gonna die in this lifetime, I'm just gonna wake back up in another.
Right.
Yeah. I think I did fear death a lot when I was young. Like I don't know, the unknown or like even I'm in school, we talked about space and I started like crying. Maybe this was just my anxiety, but like I was like
No,
crying
that's
because I like
understandable.
just thinking about the nothingness and like I don't know, it just really freaked me out. But I've had so many experiences where I've spoken to, people on the other side or like people who have passed and um, I just am not worried about it. I mean, like, yeah, I don't want to leave my daughter. Like, I think that's
Oh,
probably the thing
right.
that scares me the most is like leaving her and
Yeah.
the pain that that will cause her and then, not being here with her. But I know that there's something after we die, and I know there's people there waiting for me. So I'm not that worried
Yeah.
about it. But yeah, I think that the paranormal definitely is like one of those tools where like even if you don't have those abilities, I think that people feel something like it helps them cope with the death. It helps them cope
Yeah.
with, knowing that there is something else out there.
Yeah. So this is kind of stepping away from the paranormal. I just want to mention it before I forget. Next time you talk to Christopher, ask him about the for real cat at Post Town.
Oh God, what happened?
So, like in the office, like gear area, there was one of those mechanical cats.
Uh-huh.
Oh my God, it was hilarious. Him trying to get the cat to roll over, it was like 10 minutes. It was hilarious. He goes, "This is like the best moment I've ever had in the paranormal."
Trying to get the cat to roll over.
It was at one point they like Don called it a tribble and Star Trek references. It was hilarious. Like I keep watching back that footage and it's just like this just sums up everything right there.
Yeah.
It was
Um,
amazing. I'll have to set I do have a I don't know if I have a short on YouTube or not, but I'll have to send you a little snippet of that video. It's just
yeah,
hilarious.
please do. Because like, I mean, I'm terrible when it comes to all that. I really just stay away from YouTube because of all the things that I've listed. I just am
No,
like
yeah, I get
kind
that.
of had gotten to me and I was like, I'm not even I just don't
Yeah,
even.
I'll send it to you because you have to see it.
Yeah,
It's hilarious.
perfect. Can't wait to see it.
So, anything new and exciting going on with your shop?
Yes and no. I mean, it was really busy December. Like I'm used to getting like I don't know, one or two orders a month or something on Etsy. And like December, it was like one or two every couple hours. Like
Oh, nice.
it was crazy. I was like, what is going on? Like, what the algorithm or something? Like, I don't know how these people are finding me, but it was busy. And although I am very grateful, it was pretty stressful because I was like not prepared to have that
Right.
order. So I was like, but no, there's a new restaurant here in Toledo that just opened called the Pale Horse, and it is a horror themed bar slash restaurant.
Oh,
Uh,
nice.
yeah, so I am actually going to. I have a couple dolls in the car right now. I'm supposed to take down there that are going to be displayed in their restaurant, and they'll be for sale still, but they'll be there, promoting my business. While people get to enjoy more of the horror themed stuff. I think
Nice.
they have a lot of paintings around the bar that are from local artists as well that are for sale. So it's a
Okay.
pretty cool place. So it's exciting.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just telling Jada before I came out, I was kind of looking through the shop. I'm like, God, I really need to get out here and buy some stuff.
Yeah. I need to really get ready for these, the new season, the season of conventions
Oh
coming
yeah,
up.
that's coming up real quick.
Yeah, it'll be here before we know it. And I'm like, I have, I think, three or four that are like almost done, but I'm still trying to just decide. Like, I need time to like decide what they're going to be, what they're going to look like, I guess. So like I don't like to rush through them. I like to give them their own like little personality.
Yeah,
Um, based off of what they're telling me, you know. So I kind of just so I need to like actually give myself some time to do that because that's the problem is that I I have no downtime. So like
Yeah.
I have time to just sit there with it and just kind of like, you know, just take it all in.
Yep. So what do you have planned for this year's, conventions, investigations, anything else fun and exciting?
As of right now, the plan is the normal FCI, ISS, and MadCon at Madison Seminary. I think I'm gonna do my second year at Gettysburg Bash. That's the plan anyway. I have my Airbnb booked and all that. It's just hoping that everything falls into place because, like, it's just been very crazy.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
so as long as my health is okay and everything's going well, that's the plan. I did want to try and go to the Cleveland one that Christopher is putting on. I just
Okay.
haven't been. I told him a while ago that I was interested in attending and vending at that, but I haven't like made sure they even have spots left or anything. I need to do that
Yeah.
just on my list of things to do. Um, so I am still open to looking at more vendor spots. Just depending. It's like I did one. I wanted to do a specific one this year, but I think they're doing it at like Indiana. Fairgrounds or something, and they wanted
Okay.
like $600 or something.
Ouch. That's
Yeah,
kind of
like
crazy.
you know how much I'd have to sell even to make that up? Like it's not really worth it. And
Yeah.
that money, I don't even know where that money is going. It's definitely not going to any buildings or anything. So I'm like not really trying to pay that kind of money for a vending spot if it's not
Yeah.
going where, worthwhile. So still on the lookout. So if you hear of any that are semi close by, please let
Okay. Yeah, because it seems like there's always new ones popping up. Like there's a new one that's like it's further away from you, but there's one that's in Georgia, and then where did I see another one? There's like another one that's happening that's new in Texas, and
I've been wanting to do New Jersey Paracon for some time, but it always ends up being on a weekend that something else is going on. And also, there's this old, like, I think it's an old YMCA or something in Illinois, and they constantly are reaching out to me trying to get me to do their stuff, but they always do it on the first weekend of October, and I always have a standing thing that goes
okay,
on the weekend, and I'm like, why don't you guys change to a different date, please?
right. And I know there's this new one that just happened in Minnesota like a month ago, and it just from everybody I hear, it was just like a giant train wreck.
Yeah,
So,
I,
some are good, some are bad, and
yeah, it is. It's trying to figure out because like I wanted to do a new one last year and I paid for it. And then something happened. The person who was running it, like their daughter was sick or something, and so they had to reschedule, and then it was scheduled for something else, and then they never got back with anybody, and then they scheduled it for whatever. Regardless, it never happened, and they still have yet to send me my money back. So I don't know.
yeah, I did see something about I'm not for sure if you're familiar with the Berlin Church in Wisconsin,
Mm-mm.
or is it the Berlin? I can't remember. It's like four properties. It's a rectory, schoolhouse, church, and something else. But I think later this year they have one that's coming for a new event. I remember seeing, but yeah, they're always popping up. It'd be nice if we could get a nice one here in Minnesota every year because Minnesota is such a weird spot for the paranormal. It's like you got maybe like a handful of locations that you can actively investigate.
Yeah.
It's there's like so many places here that don't acknowledge the paranormal that are haunted, and
Yeah.
it's like come on, just let us in.
Mm-hmm. That's what there's a lot of places here too that I'm just like, because there's a guy who actually has wrote now is I think he just put out his second book of Toledo specific locations in Toledo that are haunted. It's called like Haunted Toledo or Haunted
Okay.
something. I don't know, but yeah, I'm like all these places, and only one of them does private investigations, and I'm like, you could bring a lot of money into this city. Like, come on, just open them up.
Right.
But a lot of them are still active, like restaurants and stuff. So,
Yeah. Yeah,
but
this past December I just did at the Sheldon Theater down in Red Wing, Minnesota, where I'm from. I just did a mini paranormal event, had like, what was it, 24 people, smaller, but it's like, did a live seance on site. Like
mhm.
Patty Negri and Diet Renee were there, and then they did a gallery reading, and we investigated. We had the place from like 6 to 2 in the morning, so it was a great night.
Yeah, I'm sad I had to miss it, but it's kind of
Oh yeah,
blessing in disguise because I ended up in the hospital.
yep,
So yeah.
yeah. It was a very interesting night. My team member Courtney, she was down in one of the dressing rooms, and I saw the footage, but I can't remember who was down there. But there was like this mirror suction cup on another mirror, and like it flew off at her, and she like fell off her chair. It's like,
That's,
what the heck?
that's scary. Oh wow. Yeah, I need to be able to travel more, but we need the funds.
Yeah.
I need a third job just to pay for paranormal stuff.
Oh, don't we all?
Yeah. Oh, oh
Well,
well.
Jada, do you have any other questions?
No, sir.
Yeah, I don't think I really have anything else either.
All right. Okay.
Well, thanks for taking some time out of your night and joining
Or
again.
anytime.
And we will
Um,
definitely stay in touch and talk soon.
yeah, I'm sure you'll be talking to Melina soon, so
Oh, yeah, I gotta get things going with her. It's just kind of like schedules are so busy, and it's just gotta figure that out. But
yeah.
I'll work with her and we'll get it going.
All right. Well, you
All
guys have
right. You have a great
You
night.
too.
a
Thank you.
bye.
Yep.
Yeah.
Bye.